Pitt is one of the best success stories in the country at number 3 in the nation, an RPI of number 7, win over Penn State. This is for outright first place. If Pitt wins, they stay in first. If Louisville wins, they tie Pitt. We're underway. And a net violation on Pitt to start, so the opening point goes to Louisville. Louisville's RPI is still at 18, but they're no longer ranked. Receiving votes, however. And out of the middle, the kill by Sabrina Starks, sophomore from Springfield, Nebraska, who is the cousin of WNBA superstar Candace Parker. Lund back to serve. Two-time ACC Player of the Week this year. And a lift called against Louisville, so the point goes to Pitt.
And that could have actually went both ways. She went up. Shields went up with one hand.
Pitt's won 4 of the last 6, but they have not won here since 2014. And the block, that block went out of bounds.
And that's another player for Louisville. Chausse really needs to make sure that she is playing to the angles because she's a shorter hitter but has a phenomenal block against Pittsburgh.
Chausse 9 in red. She's a sophomore. We're tied at 2. And there's that tough block by Pitt. I mean, they have a world-class front line.
And that pass being pushed too far to the net from Amaya Tillman for Louisville set up that trap block is what we call it.
Hilligus with a good serve. Nice receive by Hamilton, and then Hilligus with the dig. Point Pitt. Stephanie Williams, who went over 1,000 digs in their last win Friday night against Notre Dame. She's one of 3 players in the history of Pitt volleyball to get over 1,300 kills and 1,000 digs.
Now that's something that Pittsburgh is really going to have to watch. Is the atmosphere here is very loud. They're used to playing in some type of dome, so the crowd being on top of them is something that they need to limit their mistakes and make that big adjustment. This
arena is a volleyball-only facility. The history just pours out of it when you walk in. Nice Louisville block. Van Buskirk is denied by Stevenson.
And Stevenson, and this is what is going to happen. You see the swim team taking off an article of clothing every time the Louisville team scores a point.
Swim team's a good one. They're ranked in the top 10 as well, but then swimming and diving team. And another block by Stevenson. They're testing her, Jennifer, and she's passed the test the last 2 times.
Stevenson is doing a very good job of taking away the angles. You see that Stephanie Williams goes up, tries to cut it right to the left arm, but Stevenson seals the block.
Louisville up 5-4. Louisville swept Virginia here on Friday night. It is homecoming weekend here at Louisville. The football team had a massive win yesterday against Virginia, and the volleyball team, you were part of the celebrations as an alumni on Friday night as well. It's been a weekend of celebrating here in Louisville.
And this would be a good start for Louisville if they continue to just play clean volleyball.
That hit the antenna. The attack by Chausse is unsuccessful. The point goes to Pitt.
And that's an attack that Chausse is really exceptional with, is down the line. So Pittsburgh really needs to make sure that they're getting close to the pin as possible and then pushing inside the court.
Markovic comes in to serve, and a service error gives the point back to Louisville. Markovic is from Slovenia, a 2-time All-American who's been in a little bit different role this year. Mia Stander inserted into serve, a 5'3" sophomore from Atlanta. A float serve. Nice takeover by Akeo, but well defended. Net violation, point Pitt.
Louisville gets that net violation, but you'll see a double sub come in with Stiverins coming on the outside.
Back row attack from Jones, dug up by Markovich. And then a kill out of the back row by Williams. Williams, the first three-time All-American Pitt has ever had.
Now you see Pitt a little bit out of sorts using Stephanie Williams in the back row as an attack. They really aren't used to this atmosphere to have that second service error.
Did the altitude go up in Louisville? All of a sudden these serves are sailing. That's a third error on Pitt, and they're all long.
It is definitely an arena that you have to get used to. It's so close-knit.
Fans are right on top of you. The walls are pretty close to the back lines as well. And another point for Louisville. Louisville looking very good. Again, this is the L&N Federal Credit Union Arena. It's a volleyball-only facility. And our Jennifer Hoffman's name's on that wall back there is a former All-American. All the banners are in here of conference championships. And there you are, Jennifer.
They used to have really large pictures on the wall, and I requested to take them down.
I thought you were pretty upset about that.
Yeah, I had pigtails, and it was just a bad idea.
Fockey in to serve from Athens, Greece. Louisville clinging to a one-point advantage in this first set. Clean kill on the left side by Kayla Lund.
Now what Kayla Lund really needs to recognize is that being her second swing of the match against a big blocker like Amaya Tillman, she really needs to play the angles a little bit better. As you can see, the defense for Louisville couldn't handle.
Again, another long service error by Pitt. So Pitt has given away 4 points in this opening set as the articles of clothing continue to come off of the swim team. They do that at Texas as well. I promise they won't get naked. They do have 25 articles of clothing, which is a miracle in and of itself. It's an attack by Inde.
And Inde is someone that's been implemented into the backer attack. You see her coming out of pipe, hitting that sharp, deep angle. And that was actually in system for Pittsburgh.
Powerful swing on that right side by Stiverins.
Stiverins has came in and done a phenomenal job of just putting some points on the board for Louisville. You see her on the right side taking that sharp angle between the seam of the block.
Of course, her sister Lauren, an All-American at Nebraska. Their dad played in the NBA as well. Big kill again by Starks in the middle. And Melanie McHenry doing a little coaching there.
And that's something that Louisville really does miss on the court is their general. She was the best producer, the lone senior for Louisville.
Yeah, I think that's just critical, the fact that she was the only senior on this roster and to go out. But they seem to have recovered Friday night at least against Virginia. This is a big test though, obviously. Williams with the overpass cleans it up, point Pitt. Pitt ranked number 3 in the nation. That's the highest ranking of an ACC school, and it ties the highest in history of an ACC team. Florida State was number 3 back in 2014 as well. Big D by Starks.
And that was a little isolation play from Louisville. Everyone in the gym knew that that ball was going to Iko Jones. Shields really out of system, setting that ball at the 10-foot line. Short court, good read.
Pitt's retaking the lead, 13-11 now. We get a 25 win by 2. A whiff, little mistimed swing there by Tillman. First 4 sets go to 25, win by 2. If we get to a fifth, it's to 15. Service error again, and Dan Fisher, the head coach of Pitt, slammed his sheet of paper down on his leg. Those service errors are not something he's happy about.
Well, service errors in a match of this significance, it slows it down, but it also steals away the momentum because you start to think about your mistakes that you continue to make, and you get a little bit nervous going to that service line.
That's a good point, Jennifer. It's not just giving the points away, it's the mental aspect. I know as your serve goes, sometimes the rest of your game goes. Pitt, though, up 3. Just from that perspective, what's your thought on McHenry's absence and the destination of this team?
Being the lone senior, I think it's very difficult to rebound mentally from your floor general being out. So it's a good use of her time to really try to still teach the game of volleyball when she can't be on the court.
Kill by Anna Stevenson. McHenry was averaging 4 kills per set, 19 aces. And there's the youth that will be listening to her. She's actually talking to Jones right now, who's a redshirt freshman. KO with a set to Williams, as Pitt has risen to the top not only of the ACC but of the nation in indoor volleyball, ranked number 3. The RPI is at number 7. They are trying to put themselves in position to host a regional. They have won 15 straight against ACC opposition. This would put them at 10-0 to start the ACC for the second season in a row if they can win today. And there's Pitt, rarely out of system.
And that was just a miscommunication. You see that Markovic comes in and takes the first contact on the ball, but there was no communication on Akio getting that second ball. Excuse me, that was actually Stephanie Williams coming in and reading the ball well, but no communication on the side of Pitt.
Well, that serve receive got away from Pitt, and it was cleaned up nicely by Stevenson. Stevenson, a transfer from Auburn.
You see that difficult pass made by Kayla Lund, really needing to relax the shoulders.
Van Buskirk with the kill. One of the top middle blockers in the country. She's from Canada. And if you're looking for something interesting to watch, go on their social media page. She and one of her teammates, Avery Perosa, did a nice little video feature on the home court of Pitt and all the facilities they have here. We've been talking about Louisville's court. It was a lot of fun to watch that. It's on their social media page. Nice angle.
And again, you see Markovic coming in and taking that second ball, delivering a nice high swingable ball to Kayla Lund.
Yeah, that was a beautiful set from Markovic to Lund. Well, a reminder to
And a lot of visual psychology for Pittsburgh. When they visualize success is when you go out and actually do it.
Yeah, we've gotten to see them do that in some of their practices. It's a lot of fun to watch. A nice cerebral shot by 19 in red, Shannon Shields, who was a freshman.
And Shannon Shields being a lefty, she's able to drop that right hand and push that ball in any corner that she chooses.
Alexis Hamilton, the libero, with a good serve, but a KO. That was really her only option, and she made the most of it.
And that was an ideal situation. As you can see, Akio keeps both of her hands up until the last second, leaving Amaya Tillman wondering and kind of guessing, which you don't want to do on the block, on if she's going to take the second ball over or set the hitters.
She replaced her older sister, Kamalani, who graduated last year and was a setter for Pitt. One of the youngest setters in the country. She's only 17. Inde went high hands, got the touch, point Pitt.
And if you notice for Pittsburgh, which is something that Louisville really needs to make the adjustment on, is right now they do not have a setter on the floor. So everybody is hands-on for Pittsburgh, making sure that they're just delivering a nice, high, easy ball to their pin hitters.
Faki, this serve. She's also part of that video I mentioned earlier with Van Buskirk and Perosa. She plays the role of DJ. And Starks has had a very good first set.
Starks is establishing,
as you touched on, with 15 of their 20 wins coming in sweeps. Here in L&N Federal Credit Union Arena on the campus of the University of Louisville, the Cardinals and Pitt Panthers playing for the right to call themselves the top of the ACC. Louisville was undefeated as recently as a week ago, but has lost their top player, their only senior. And so a lot of question marks surrounding the remainder of the season for Louisville. Pitt is number 3 in the nation. And one of the premier teams not only in the ACC but nationally as well. Error there, that set was a little off. Lund couldn't make anything with it, and Louisville staying alive.
She has still been with the development of a lot of these young players for Louisville.
Yeah, we've seen today she's really taken on the role of a coach, and Jones continues the Cardinals' momentum here. They've cut the lead to 2.
And that's the energy that Louisville needs to propel them over a nice, solid team like Pittsburgh.
It's a 4-0 run by Louisville right now. And one is dug by Stander. Point Pitt.
And on that play, Stiverin should have went over, pushed the ball over, obviously, to get that point, but she handed the bottom of the ball, which doesn't lend any opportunity.
Stiverins has Nebraska ties as well. Her sister Lauren, an All-American there. And the men's swim team continuing to take off an article of clothing after every Louisville point. Swing by Lund. That was just too much power.
And you see she gives the stare down because that was one of the most effective swings that she has had, and it has been on the right side of the net. So maybe making that adjustment to see her have a little bit more success.
Set point Pitt. Inde secures the set for the Panthers. Well, some good volleyball by Louisville at the end as they tried to cut it close, but Pitt just
to come here to Louisville. Coach Mack is doing a phenomenal job.
So here we go into the second set. The third-ranked team in the nation, Pitt, trying to stay undefeated in ACC play. Their only loss was to Penn State earlier this year, and they actually beat Penn State just prior to that loss. First point goes to Louisville.
And you see that force by KO to the middle for Pittsburgh Starks. Just a little bit of a miscommunication.
Amaya Tillman back to serve for Louisville. Inde was blocked, but Williams kept it alive. Strong presence is Jones. Again, Pitt's only loss was to Penn State, but that was right after they had swept Penn State at Penn State, becoming one of the only teams to ever do that. They lost in 5 sets. And even as a result, or after that loss, Jennifer, one of the most fascinating stats about this Pitt team to me is they're the only team in Division I that has outscored every single opponent this season. We just saw Baylor lose to Texas last week, but even though Pitt has the loss, they still outscored Penn State in terms of number of points.
And that's honestly a testament to how consistent and kind of non-emotional their offense is. They really try to run a faster offense, especially to the outsides, Kayla Lund and Stephanie Williams. But the consistency in which they produce is what has carried Pittsburgh in their offense.
Pitt's one of those teams to me, like in a lot of other sports, where they make it look easy.
And effortless is important in the game of volleyball.
Hillegas will pursue this. Makeo had to take it over. And the block by Pitt. Inde, I think, got most of that.
And that was nice, solid play by both sides. I think Alexis Hamilton for Louisville should have delivered a better ball to Shields. As you can see, it's a little bit off of the net for Chauncey to really get a nice, solid swing. But credit to Inde for pressing over the block for Pittsburgh.
Pitt has a slight lead here, 3-2. Now 4-2.
And as a shorter hitter, Chauncey really needs to make sure that she's reaching. She was about 20 feet off of the net, a couple feet behind the 10-foot line. As an out-of-system ball, reach high and aim deep.
Chauncey struggling against Pitt. Only 2 kills and 8 swings and 4 errors. And the Pitt presence at the net continues to be strong. Starks has had a wonderful match so far.
Excellent job at the net for Pittsburgh. Not even thinking that ball cleared the net for Anna Stevenson.
Starks already with 4 blocks in the match. That's going to be tough. Somehow the Louisville's alive, and a net violation on Louisville gives Pitt the point with a win and avoid dropping down into that tie with Notre Dame and Boston College. There's some big matches today, however, in the ACC, so all those standings could change by tonight. Jones sends that way up into the stands.
And how about that being her first kill on the match so far? I think Louisville really needs to find her on the court to get her going. You see a nice solid swing in the hands, between the hands of Stephanie Williams for Pittsburgh.
She's had 9 swings. That was her first kill, as you said. Inde tries to answer. Now that's set just too tight to the net by Hillegas.
And again, we see some enthusiasm and some excitement as we see the swim team.
Do we need to see that? Well, they are swimmers, so they're fit. Inde with the kill for Pitt.
What a nice, strong swing by Inde on the right side.
Again, that's the Louisville men's swimming and diving team. We're taking a piece of clothing off every point. They do that at Texas as well, so it's not unprecedented. And that is their school uniform, so that's what they wear to compete in.
And as you see the double sub come in for Louisville, we really should be looking at Shannon Shields and how she delivers the ball to her pin hitters. You see as Chauncey goes out and Aiko Jones is in position 1. She really needs to get a little bit more consistent. She wants her offense to run a little bit more smoothly.
Van Buskirk hammering the overpass. Just played for Team Canada in the Pan Am Games at the end of the summer. Preseason All-ACC, a communications major as well. Markovic back into serve.
I will say that Louisville and Pittsburgh have cleaned up the service errors in this second set. Again, nice ball placement by Shannon Shields for Stivrins.
Double contact called on Pitt, gives the point to Louisville. Danny Busman Kelly talking to one of the officials. Alexis Hamilton, who had a fantastic high school career nearby at Assumption High School. Killed by Williams. It bears pointing out, though, that Well, let's take a look at the replay first.
You see Shannon Shields was not in the proper position to stop that ball coming off of Stephanie Williams' hand. She really needs to be a little bit further to the right and place her right hand on the ball to take away that angle.
What I was going to say, Jennifer, is this area in Louisville is the home of one of the premier volleyball schools in the country, Assumption High School. It's called Libero U. A lot of the top liberos, it seems like, in the history of indoor volleyball have come from the school here locally. And volleyball at the club level is just a massive sport here in this area.
And there are a couple of major clubs, one of which I coach at, Union Volleyball Club. They do produce a lot of defensive specialists. As you can see, Alexis Hamilton is one of them in the back row for Louisville. But just an exceptional bed for the volleyball community here in Louisville.
They are very knowledgeable about the sport here in Louisville. Passionate fan base. That's out. Another point to Louisville. Cardinals are within 2.
Markovic not really being able to make her full swing. She expected that ball to be a little bit closer to the net and not as out of system. As you can see, both teams coming in with a double sub. So the R2 has her work cut out for her.
Selecta Hendricks coming in for Stivrins. Hendricks is a freshman from here in Louisville. She also was a member of the Assumption High School team last year. They were 43-0 last year and were winners of that mythical national championship. Big block. Jones with a stuff.
Now there was absolutely nowhere for Kayla Lund to go on that block from Aiko Jones. You see the perfect press, shoulders forward, hands over, sealing the net. Now for Pittsburgh, I think that Aiko really needs to find a different opportunity for their offense to continue to run. As everyone knows in the gym that there's going to be a double block on Kayla Lund at all times.
Pitt is going to take a timeout because Louisville now has tied the score in the second set. We are tied at 10. Louisville's football team had a big win yesterday, and that's a reminder to me to tell you about every week we have the huddle. Jack Collinsworth.
Well, that is because of the energy that the last point from Louisville really jump-started the energy from this crowd. Aiko Jones with a full block, nowhere to go for Kayla Lund.
That home court record is phenomenal. But you are playing one of the top teams in the country, and it does not faze this Pitt team who went into Penn State and got a win earlier this year. This is not a group that is intimidated. Akeo, the surprise starting setter as a freshman. Pitt's starting setter went out in the preseason. And a hitting error. So Pitt's won 2 straight points after that timeout.
And again, you see Chausse really trying to place the ball instead of just making sure that the ball gets over the net. Nice, high, solid swing. You see she short-armed it a little bit, not really knowing where she is on the court.
That's better. She tools the block. I like how they went right back to her. Chausse, a player of the future here, just a sophomore. She's from Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Be nice to write on your mailing address.
Kayla Lund for Pittsburgh has gotten a lot more production off of the right side, possibly because of the shorter blocker of Louisville, Chausse, on the left.
Lund now with 5 kills. Both her parents were student athletes at Notre Dame, which is who Pitt swept Friday night. Hillegas tried to save it. That's got to go over. Whoa! What a play! And Chausse says, that's just too bad.
What an aggressive swing by Chaussee to really put a button on how the hustle for Pittsburgh really ignited the Louisville offense. See her taking a nice high swing in that putback. As you can see there with a miscommunication, both of the Louisville players aggressively wanted that ball.
That's one of the best pursuits I've seen this season, what Hillegas did. And Hillegas is back to serve now. Transfer from Iowa State in the Big 12. Hillegas was the Libero of the Year in that conference. There's a nice block one-on-one. Stevenson wins that.
Stevenson did a good job of staying disciplined and with her hitters. Van Buskirk was kind of delivered a trap set, not being able to place the ball on either side.
Louisville back to within one. And another big Cardinal block.
You see how Louisville is pinched in, and Stiverins really sets the block nicely.
Louisville out blocking Pitt, surprisingly 9-4. And Van Buskirk out of the middle gets the kill. When she swings, she's usually successful. She's been hitting .368 this season.
And as you see in that last swing for Van Buskirk, she was moved away from the setter of 31. And Stevenson could not find where her hitter was.
4 kills for the Canadian Panther. Stiverins tooling the block.
Big push by Shannon Shields to get that ball all the way out to the left side. Very difficult for a middle blocker, as you can see Van Buskirk really trying to push over the net, but was a little late.
We're back to being tied in this second set. That point is going to go to Pitt. Louisville was over the net.
And what happened there was Amaya Tillman was just a little bit overeager and pressing to where Akeo had no opportunity to even set the ball.
Off the slide, Tillman.
And Tillman is a player from the middle that we have not heard a lot about so far in this match. For Louisville, their entire offense depends on how they're able to get the middles involved.
That was touched. Point to Pitt. Again, Pitt has very rarely lost a set this season. 15 of their 20 wins have been sweeps. And Louisville is showing to me, Jennifer, they can compete with Pitt, but can they actually, first of all, win a set and then ultimately win a match against a team this good?
I think within this rotation alone, they really need to figure out, as you see Stiverins do it on the right side, how to put a ball away. Because what Pittsburgh is doing is they're playing defense by subbing in and subbing out the setter Akeo. So not every time is Akeo on the floor to help run the Pittsburgh's offense.
Inde coming back in for Pitt. Hendricks subbed in for Louisville and is about to serve. Lund a little off speed. And Lund tools the block, secures the point for Pitt.
And Lund for Pittsburgh has a really low swing. You see Akeo trying to deliver the ball to her, a really fast pace. You see that ball shot out. And Iko Jones was pushed too far in to get to the pin.
A big swing by Jones, overpowered Akeo in the back row. We're tied at 18. Pitt being tested. Saw them tested by Florida State in Tallahassee a couple weeks ago. Pitt won that, and ultimately, though, in 4 sets. Another point by the Panthers. Kayla Lund, the most decorated ACC Weekly Award winner in Pitt history. She's won that award twice, 5 times in her career. The ACC Player of the Week. She was a 4-time ACC Freshman of the Week back in her first year. An All-American last year.
And you see her on the night so far with 7 kills, I believe, all from the right side.
Good up, and then the attacking error, side out Louisville. There has to be a clear mistake to overrule the call, and I don't know. I think that's...
The ball looks out.
Yeah. Initially, I thought it might have been touched. But based on that angle, you'd have to always be able to tell where the ball goes flat as it hits the court, and yeah, that looks like it's probably going to be out. Let's see how our official sees it. Replay official taking a look at it right now. It's their first challenge.
From that angle, it looks to be in. You see Alexa Hendricks turn over her left shoulder.
Decision has been made, and the call's overturned. So yeah, that angle that we just looked at was the one that was the determining factor, and the ball was in, so the point is awarded to Pitt. It happened right in front of Danny Busboom-Kelly as well, so she's probably feeling like she had a better look than anyone.
And Coach Busboom is saying that was a huge point to make an overrule call.
Gives Pitt a 2-point lead now deep in the second set. Pitt won the first set. It's a best of 3 set match. And it's for first place in the ACC. That is out. Point Pitt. And
to move behind the block, to spread the net a little bit, and the offense for Louisville. Shannon Shields delivering a good slide.
Going to 25, win by 2 here in the second set. Stivrins ties the score.
Good decision by Stivrins of putting that ball into position 4 right over the left arm of the middle blocker, Van Buskirk.
Day with a net violation called against Louisville gets the point. Pitt has only lost 1 set in ACC play. That was at Florida State. They are trying to remain undefeated overall in the ACC, go to 10-0 for the 2nd straight year. Good ace.
And that's what happens when you wait for other teams to make a mistake.
Women's basketball. Pitt is the cream of the crop in the ACC and women's volleyball, and one of the top 3 teams in the nation. They are trying to stay undefeated in the ACC, stay in position to perhaps host a regional in the NCAA tournament. A lot on the line for this Pitt team. Set point Pitt.
Now that was a nice solid pass by Mia Standard for Louisville. Just a miscommunication from Shannon Shields.
No mistake there. Stevenson crushes it off the slide. The junior from South Carolina.
And Stevenson and Tillman for the middles for Louisville really need to start to make an impact because the set is not over. You see Alexis Hamilton going back to serve.
Still set point Pitt. Good save by Hamilton. But Pitt too strong. Williams again secures the set for Pitt. And Pitt is on the left in regular clothes. The best player on this team went out with a season-ending injury against Notre Dame on October 16th. And so this team, which was undefeated at the time, has had to try to figure out and sort of create itself again, a new identity moving forward.
And I think she's found a little bit of a niche. Unfortunately, within her injury, she's kind of taken on a player-coach's role. You see her having talked with Shannon Shields about how she needs to distribute and place the ball to her hitters, and with the opportunity to take the ball over on the second opportunity.
I want to say, take it easy, Melanie. I mean, she's jumping up and down off that chair like there's nothing wrong with her. Third set, Pitt going for the sweep. They've had 15 sweeps this year out of 20 wins. They've only lost one set in ACC play. That was to Florida State. Tipped by Lund, and it's successful.
And you see that Pitt moved around their artillery, placing Kayla Lund on the right side, and you have Inde moving on the left for that rotation specifically.
Pitt up 2-0. They were very interested in the children's Halloween costume contest after that second set.
And that's the relaxed nature that you see Pittsburgh have. They got into a little bit of a rut at the end of the second set, but they bounced back, really cleaning up.
Chaussee has been named ACC Player of the Week earlier this year. Has had an outstanding freshman season last year.
Now this is a really good front line for Louisville. They need to make sure that Shannon Shields spreads the net a little bit more, getting those passes to where she has a three-hitter option. Did you see the block by Stevenson and Chaussee?
Inde hit that low.
Now that was better placement. Sometimes Chaussee really fades to the left, but she stuck in and pressed that ball to the inside of the court.
Williams, it went down. Louisville did not save it, so Williams gets the kill. Again, she's put up numbers that very few, if any, have ever put up in a Pitt uniform. One of only 3 players to get over 1,300 kills and 1,000 digs. She's their first 3-time All-American in program history. Inde tools the block. Point Pitt.
Just caught Jones a little bit off guard and out of position on defense for Louisville.
Pitt retakes the lead 3-2. Inde now with 6 kills. Nobody in double figures yet. Williams is the closest. She has 9 kills.
Again, those passes really needing to be an opportunity to have a 3-hitter option for Louisville.
Good dig by Hilligus. Chaussee targeted Lund and hit her target.
Now that is a better swing for Chaussee out of system. You see in the first 2 sets, she was short-arming it, but you see her follow through and push that ball deep corner.
I do like the attitude of this Louisville team, Jennifer. They have not looked defeated in any stretch of the imagination. They're still competing just as ferociously here in the third set as they did to start the match, despite being down 2-0.
And I think it's an opportunity for them to figure it out as they move along. Again, they're without their leader, Melanie McHenry, on the court. So they don't need to look to her to bail them out, essentially. They need to figure it out and just continue to play and keep the ball off the floor. And
we've seen it with our own eyes this year, though. Teams that have come back from 2-0 down to win in 5. It seems like it's happening more and more with the depth in volleyball now.
And Louisville being one of them, having come back from an 0-2 match at Notre Dame.
Service error on Markovic. Buskirk off the slide. That's pretty much unstoppable.
And it's unstoppable, especially with Stivrins being in the wrong position to make sure that she takes away line.
Van Buskirk was an excellent tennis player as a junior in Canada. You can see that swing looking a lot like a tennis player there. Williams gets the ace. Williams with 26 aces this season, that leads Pitt. Another good serve. Stivrins, I've enjoyed watching her play today.
And again, she has been a spark for Louisville, taking the place of the injured McHenry in the last couple of matches for Louisville.
She is just a freshman as well. And of course, talked about it earlier, her sister's such a huge part of Nebraska's team. Service error on Hamilton. Faki brought in to serve from Athens, Greece. Faki speaks 3 languages. Stivrins targets Markovic. A couple of kills in a row for the freshman.
And Stivrins did a good job of isolating her arm swing, and what I mean by that is she hung in the air for a little bit, not really contacting the ball until the last second and aiming for line against a shorter Akeo in the front row.
Stivrins now takes the lead in kills for Louisville with 8. Good hustle by Jones, but Pitt just too strong.
Well, Louisville's playing a predictable offense. You see Aiko Jones really able to get that defensive play up, but there's only one hitter on the floor for Louisville, and that was the outside and Stivrins.
Akeo just underneath the men's swimming and diving team. They are trying to disrupt her serve.
She's laughing about it.
I don't really know what that is, that noise they're making. It is annoying. Tilling the block.
And that was a better reach by Kayla Lund, going high hands off of the top of the blocker.
You're right, Akeo is laughing at these guys screaming at her. She looks over the bench and chuckles. Jones sides out for Louisville.
Going back and forth between Pittsburgh and Louisville with their pin hitters. You see Aiko Jones goes through the seam of the block.
Louisville must win this set to keep the match going. Pitt trying to go to 10-0 for the second straight year to begin ACC play. And Inde with another career. Chinaze Inde. She's from Houston, Texas. We may be calling her Dr. Inde one day. She is planning on going to med school after she graduates from Pitt, and that's certainly a great place to do it.
I mean, Sam, I think they do look like sisters, Inde and Jones.
Yeah.
Back to serve Louisville at the 25 line.
Lined. Still alive.
Now, block is not considered part of the 4 contacts. but I don't think it necessarily went off of Stark's hands. I think it went off her head.
Hilliger serving this. She's a fun player to watch. You see her throwing her body all over the court. There she goes. She can't save that one, however. That's too much power by Stevenson.
And Stevenson was available to her setter because of the pass. So the focus for Louisville, again, really needs to be to drop their shoulders and deliver a nice, easy pass to Shields so that she has a three-hitter option.
And Buskirk with a nice set from Akeo.
Lady Van Buskirk with a roundhouse swing out of the middle. Again, pulled away from the setter.
Van Buskirk now with 7 kills in 11 swings. Good serve. And the joust is won by Louisville. Number 19, Shields, as the shorter player, has the leverage here.
And it's always the person that last touched the ball, and Coach Fisher could actually challenge whether there was a contact at the net by Shannon Shields, which he's debating.
You only get 3, he's used 2, and he decides not to challenge. He's gonna let this one go. Williams, that sharp angle. That was a pretty shot.
And Stevenson could have easily taken away that angle by pressing over the net. She was a little bit off, hands were high instead of over, which allowed Stephanie Williams to take that nice, pretty angle to 4.
Williams just has so much versatility in her shot selection. Van Buskirk is starting to get more involved in the offense. She's up to 8 kills now.
And you see the pass. Alexis Hamilton waiting for the ball to come to her for Louisville instead of aggressively attacking.
Van Buskirk is so good on those overpasses. Stevenson gets the kill and the side out for Louisville. Stevenson rotates out. Pitt up by 2, going for the sweep. That goes out of play, another kill for Van Buskirk. So Pitt trying to put this match away on the road. And Williams, the only 2 players in the match in double figures in kills.
And since we're talking about statistics, let's go over to the side of Louisville, and we only have Aiko Jones with 3 kills on the night with 17 swings. Tillman only 1 with 3, as you see a service ace come from the side.
Faki, it was called an ace, but Coach Busboom Kelly's going to challenge it. One of her assistants was right on that line and thought, yeah, that might be out.
And you know, the challenge system being implemented, it really does give an opportunity for coaches, each coach, to kind of talk out what is happening while the challenge is being looked at. But it does slow the game down just a little bit. As we take a look here.
It was called good, so it's ball's in the air there. Any piece of the line and it's in. See that assistant in the right-hand side of your corner with his hands on his knees. Yeah, I think this, let's see.
And it's definitely hard to distinguish.
Yeah, I think we might get an overturn though. What do you think?
It's almost like, what was the game like when there was no challenge system? Were these things that would make or break your team if you felt it was an unjust call?
Decision's been made, and ultimately we'll get it. It's called good.
And Coach Busboom is rightfully so frustrated as you see her sub out Shannon Shields, and we get a look at Tori Dilfer coming in to set for the Louisville Cardinals.
Dilfer's sister played at Notre Dame and then finished her career on the beach at Pepperdine. Her dad, Trent, NFL quarterback. A little miscommunication there. Starks mistimed that jump.
And the connection with your setter as first tempo, like Sabrina Starks is for Pittsburgh, there has to be a no change for the middle. And what I mean by that is she has to run at every tempo every single time. So that was somewhat of a mistake on Aiko Jones to not connect, to not connect with Sabrina Stark.
Lund connected, but a good dig by Stander. Jones out of the back row, dug by Hamilton. And Stivrins somehow gets a kill from that spot.
And what a crazy angle Stivrins was able to deliver that ball. The further out that Stivrins is away from the pin, the more the blocks need to be pushed in for Pittsburgh.
Good sub, Dilfer serving back there. Jones saves it. One with a tip. It was out. Point to Pitt. A KO back to serve.
But Stivrins is the hot hand for Louisville, so I'll look to get her the ball on the right side where she's been really successful.
9 kills. Make it 10. She's the first Cardinal in double figures. 10 kills off 18 attacks, 3 errors. It's a good day's work for Stivrins.
And with a new setter on the floor for Louisville with Dilfer, hopefully that's changing the momentum of the offense for them as Pittsburgh just keeps on sailing. Kayla Lund on the right side.
Another kill for Lund. Pitt just has so many offensive options.
Akio delivering a beautiful ball, noticing that Chaussee was too far in, and that quick back set to Lund.
Lund is such an intense competitor. Nice shot by Tillman. She spotted the opening and executed.
And the execution is all coming on the right side of the court, no matter what the hitter is. So she pulls her middle, Tillman, to the right side of the court, and having the blockers for Pittsburgh needing to make that adjustment to push the ball in.
And Tillman is serving at the moment. Well, back set from a KO to Inde.
And Inde with her 9th kill of the match so far. Again, a beautiful, as you can see, Louisville's blockers too far in, and Inde utilizing the left hand of Chaussee.
36 assists from a KO today. That block goes out of bounds. Chaussee gets the kill. Point Louisville. This is the 6th straight 21 season for Pitt and Coach Dan Fisher.
You see a substitution come in for Louisville.
That is just too easy for Inde. It's like a layup in basketball. She's not going to miss that too often.
You see Mbanu subbing out for Louisville, expected to make that blocking assignment.
Pitt 4 points away from another sweep, but Louisville still within striking distance. Williams, blocked.
Blocked and waiting. You see the picture-perfect block by Dilfer and Stevenson. Shoulders and everything pressed over to the net. You see Stevenson excited about getting that block, stopping Stephanie Williams for Pittsburgh.
Dilfer was pretty fired up too.
Well, most setters who are a little bit shorter, if they get a pinky on it, they are excited.
That's out. Point Pitt.
Both setters trying to get Jones involved in the offense, but just aren't able to capitalize.
And the top server on Pitt's team is back to fire. Williams. Net violation on Louisville. Or excuse me, 4 contacts called against Louisville.
And
Cardinals within 3. Running out of time. It's now or never. Dover doing a good job leading her team on the floor.
And it could have been said if Pittsburgh pulls out this third set and the match, that adjustment should have been made a little bit sooner in the match for Louisville with the switching of the setters.
Hilligas took that serve receive. That's called good. And then overruled by the Pittsburgh. Coach Fisher has won 2 challenges, and this one gives his team a chance to win the match. Fockey in to serve for the Panthers on match point. And Pitt remains undefeated in the ACC for the 2nd straight year.